Well, it's that time. We shall begin. Good afternoon and welcome, distinguished guests, chamber members, and government, education, business, and community leaders. Thank you for joining the Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce in partnership with the Association of Utah County Chambers and Envision Utah for our Valley Visioning launch, an event 2 years in the making. My name is Cameron Martin. Professionally, I am the Vice President of Operations and Chief of Staff at Rocky Mountain University of Health Professions, which is headquartered in Provo on the Old Novell campus. I'm also the former 2018 chair of the Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce and a current co-chair of the Valley Visioning Effort and Initiative with Val Hale. We are here today to launch our plan to ensure that the future of Utah Valley is even more vibrant and prosperous than it is today. Our plan, entitled Utah Valley Vision for 2050, which our friends at Envision Utah have compiled and will share momentarily, is a principle-based compass with 7 priorities for us to understand and follow legislatively at the federal, state, and local levels, as well as to guide our corporate endeavors for public engagement, support, and stewardship. In essence, we are at an inflection point, a point of decision where we must choose to act, to do our part individually and collectively. We know we have challenges, but as with all challenges, there are real opportunities if we focus on the right things. To illustrate this point, think back to the 1998 film, Patch Adams. In an early scene, the character Arthur Mendelsohn holds up 4 fingers in front of the faces of different people, asking them what they saw. Frustrated that no one really cared, let alone tried to see what he saw, he retreated. Intrigued, the lead character, Hunter Adams, followed Mendelsohn back to his hospital room and asked, "Fingers, what's the answer?" Not believing his sincerity in asking the question, Mendelsohn rudely brushed Adams off. But Adams did not leave, and while observing Mendelsohn doing his work, he noticed that the paper cup of coffee was leaking on his work, so he patched it with a sticker, thus earning the name Patch. Taken by this thoughtful act, Mendelsohn grabs Adam's hand and holds his fingers up again and asks, "How many do you see?" Perplexed, Adam answered, "There are 4 fingers." No, Mendelsohn says. "You're focusing on the problem. If you focus on the problem, you can't see the solution." To see what Mendelsohn saw, Adams had to look beyond his fingers, the problem, to see them in context of a greater vision with expanded possibilities and opportunities. This was an inflection point in Patch Adams' life. He learned how to understand the meaning behind questions to properly frame problems in the greater context of a vision. That changed Patch Adams' life for good. This scene is analogous to the Valley Visioning effort. When the Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce started the Valley Visioning Initiative in 2018, it coordinated to coordinate our valley's growth, prioritize our legislative agendas, and bring resources to bear in support of the movement. There were some skeptics of the Chamber's capacity to do so. But as the Utah Valley Chamber took steps to serve our business community by uniting all other chambers in the county, thus establishing the Association of Utah County Chambers in the process, and partnered with Envision Utah to leverage its expertise in support of a Valley Vision initiative, the skepticism turned into engagement with an understanding that if we don't coordinate efforts, our communities and companies will grow at random and threaten the very elements that make Utah Valley such a great place to live, learn, work, and play. Since 2018, in April, when we held our first Valley Visioning Summit, much has been done to refine our growth questions and establish a greater vision of opportunity, to see beyond today, to see the solutions we must pursue that will help ensure a prosperous future and a sustainable quality of life for Utah Valley residents. Over 15,000 participants have engaged throughout this process, and a series of public forums, many city council and mayoral meetings, and a random sample survey of Utah County residents has been completed to inform the Utah Valley Vision for 2050 plan. This plan, which will be updated annually, gives our government, education, business, and community leaders a tool in hand to direct and inform their efforts, which will help position Utah Valley as the economic and political hub of the great state of Utah it is destined to be. Now, with this as the backdrop, I invite you now to listen to our governor, the Honorable Gary R. Herbert, who has prepared a short video with his endorsement of our Valley Visioning efforts. Following Governor Herbert's video, Ari Bruning, CEO of Envision Utah, will share with us a summary of the Utah Valley Vision for 2050 plan and its recommendations. Ari will then introduce the remainder of the program. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Governor Gary Herbert, and I'm excited to talk to you today about the future of my home county. It's no secret, Utah County is a great place to live, so it makes sense that it's growing fast. Utah County is now adding more people each year than Salt Lake County. In fact, in the next 30 years, Utah County's population will double, and by 2065, we'll add 1 million people to our population, most of those being our own children and grandchildren. It's an exciting time, but it's up to us to ensure that as we grow, we continue to enjoy our great quality of life so that the generations to come have good jobs, raise their families in great neighborhoods, live healthy lives, and enjoy the unmatched beauty of our state. I'm happy that now, thanks to the input of more than 15,000 residents, we have a community-supported vision for the future to ensure Utah County continues to remain the beautiful, great place that it is. The Utah Valley Vision provides a roadmap for the future that focuses on the most important issues Utah County will face in the coming years. I'm excited where the roadmap will take us. We can look forward to a future that includes a variety of neighborhoods and homes that match what people want and can afford. A future with areas where we can easily get to work, do shopping, go to restaurants, and find entertainment. We'll have efficient and diverse transportation options with an increase in public transportation, including new roads and infrastructure to keep up with our growth. In other words, we're looking toward a future in which residents can travel conveniently, save money, and spend more time doing the things that we love with the people that we love. That future also includes cleaner air, with enough water to meet our needs. And finally, following this roadmap will ensure that we have great K-12 teachers in our children's classrooms and excellent affordable opportunities for higher education. Then, as more Utah County residents get degrees or other advanced training, our workforce will strengthen, supporting families in our communities and help drive our economy to even greater success. The Utah Valley Vision is an excellent example of what can happen when leaders and the community come together. This is not unprecedented. Rather, it is the result of innovation and uniquely Utah approach to growth-related issues in our state. I was a Utah County Commissioner when Envision Utah started in 1997. We decided then and there that we didn't want to just sit back and see where growth would be taking us. We wanted to be thoughtful about how we grew, and now look at what we've been able to accomplish because of it. Today, our air is cleaner, we utilize our water resources much more efficiently, we've kept infrastructure costs low, managed to keep traffic flowing, and preserved both the beautiful open spaces that we enjoy as well as many of our farms. Not to mention the incredible economy that we've built. It's a lot to be proud of. But I want to be clear about this. These achievements didn't happen just because we went through the process of creating a vision 20 years ago. They happened because hundreds, even thousands of people carried that vision through with hard work and dedication to make it a reality. The Utah Valley Vision came from the same innovative and collaborative process. I'm proud to support it. Over 15,000 residents and leaders took the time to go through well-researched scenarios regarding the future of growth, and they chose the future that they hope to see. I'm also proud to come from a county with residents who have taken the time and effort to make it clear that they care about our future and want to keep the valley a beautiful place to call home for their families and newcomers alike. Now, as Utah Valley continues to grow, we have a vision to work toward that our community supports. But make no mistake, it will take work and commitment to see it through. And I know that many of the people watching today are the people who will do the work and carry this new vision and Utah County forward. As governor of the great state of Utah, I see how strong, resilient, and hardworking Utahns can be. And with the Utah Valley vision in the hands of residents, community leaders, planners, and policymakers, there's no telling how much that we can accomplish. Together we can make sure that Utah County remains a great place to call home now and in the future. Thank you for your support.
Hi, my name is Ari Bruning, and I am the CEO of Envision Utah. We have had the opportunity to facilitate the Valley Vision for over the last 2 years. And it's my privilege today to share with you what Utah Valley residents told us that they want for the future. And first, I want to thank all those who participated in this effort, all of the stakeholders, residents, and particularly those who helped fund it and make it possible. Without you, we couldn't have done this. The vision started because of the growth projections that we're all familiar with for Utah County. We heard the governor say it, doubling in population by 2050, adding 1 million people by 2065. Every time I think about that, it floors me. Essentially, we're taking Salt Lake County's population and adding it to Utah County. And you think about what does that mean for our quality of life, and how will our kids be able to get around? Will they be able to breathe clean air and so forth? So the chambers in Utah County and Envision Utah came together to facilitate a dialogue about where we want to be as we accommodate this growth. I'm often asked, well, what does COVID mean for this? This happened midway through this visioning effort, COVID hit us. Well, and I think the first thing is COVID may mean actually that we need to accommodate more people in Utah. If you look at this map, this is showing migration patterns, and Salt Lake City, Salt Lake metro area is a net gainer of people during COVID. And also COVID may change a little bit how we travel and live and work and play in the future. And this vision for Utah County will actually accommodate those changes very, very well in allowing people to do the kinds of things that they want to do and have the options that they need. We started this effort in 2018, and we started with first phase of listening to people to understand what was important to them and what issues they wanted us to think about. We did an online survey, and we took the top issues that people said they were most concerned about and formed working groups around those. We held public workshops where we asked people to imagine doubling population by 2050 and to place on maps where they thought the growth should go and what kinds of transportation improvements should go with those. We took all of that work and worked with stakeholders and experts to put together different scenarios for how Utah County would look for the year 2050, modeled those with Utah County experts to understand what the outcomes might be, and then brought those back to the public. We had 5 different scenarios for how we could grow, and we asked people to weigh in on those across a variety of different topics, choose which scenario they liked for different topics. 11,000 people weighed in, and then we also did a random sample to validate those results to make sure we didn't just get 11,000 statistical outliers. And we took what people said across those different topics, took the elements that were appealing to people and combined them together to form this vision for the future. Brought all that data back to our working groups who helped us frame up this vision. And the bottom line is Utah County residents told us that they want 7 things for the future. They want wise water management, so we have enough water for not just for our urban growth, but also for our farms and agriculture, as well as our wildlife and recreation. They told us that they want convenient transportation choices for how to get around, whether that's walking, biking, driving, riding public transportation. They told us they want clean air. They told us that they want a well-educated population where people are prepared for the jobs and challenges of the future. They told us they want housing options that match what people want and can afford. They told us they want local agriculture to remain strong in Utah County. And they told us that they want open space and recreation opportunities that they can continue to access going into the future. So the question is, how do you get there? And based on how people reacted to these scenarios and throughout the process, there are 5 key strategies for how to get there. The first thing is to make sure that we're allowing the market to provide a variety of market-based neighborhood and housing types. So options that match what people want, match what people can afford across different life stages and incomes and preferences. The second is to make sure that we continue to build a transportation network that keeps up with growth and that provides options. So that means highway, that means transit, that means active transportation infrastructure for walking or biking, so that people have options for how to get around. The third strategy is that as we accommodate this growth and provide options for the market to build different kinds of uses for us, that we provide the option for people to live in walkable mixed-use centers. Now, what does that mean? That means a place where housing, jobs, transportation investments, shopping, learning are all coordinated in one place so that people can get around by walking, by biking, by driving to things that are close to them. And then those centers then are surrounded by neighborhoods as well who can also access those things. The fourth thing that we need to do is maintain a world-class education system. That means that we have good educators, and it means that we're responsive to workforce needs, and it means that we increase the number of residents who complete degrees or certificates after high school, because that's what the job market is going towards. And then the last thing we need to do is to use landscaping that uses less water, vehicles, infrastructure, and buildings that efficiently use resources and minimize pollution, but to do that in cost-effective ways. So those are the 5 key strategies, and we'll hear a little bit more about these things from some of our speakers coming up. We've worked with the cities to put together a conceptual map of how those elements could come together with different kinds of mixed-use centers at different scales. Some may be more urban, some may be less urban. And again, these are distributed throughout the county, coordinated with transportation infrastructure, and then surrounded by neighborhoods who can access those centers. As an example of what a center might look like, you might take a piece of underutilized property. Simple things like adding crosswalks and street trees and widening sidewalks can make it a little more walkable. You can add dining and housing, and there you have a mixed-use center, a vibrant place where people can get around and access things that are close to them. If you go look at the vision, there's a lot more detail on each of these issues, different goals and strategies of things that we need to do. So I encourage you to study the vision and think about what you can do in your sphere of influence in order to achieve the outcomes that Utah County residents want for the year 2050. We worked with our partners to model the impacts of the vision and compare it to what you might think of as business as usual. So if you look at the year 2050, just by allowing the market to work to accommodate our different housing needs, we use about 40,000 fewer acres of land. And a lot of that is farmland that will remain farmland in the year 2050. And if you look at these images, they show you where development might happen, and you can see a lot more of our best farmland remains farmland. And we also use less water per person. That means we have more water to go onto that farmland. And this happens because the market shifts to smaller lots and so forth, and also because we use landscaping that uses less water. The vision would give people better access to things close to them, so they could walk or they could drive short distances, whether it's a park or a school or public transportation. And because of all of this, we emit fewer pollutants, cut the emissions about in half so that we can have clean air by the year 2050. Clean air now through the year 2050, even as we grow. And then all of this also saves us money. So calculated household costs from driving and from utilities and so forth, and we save about $3,000 per household by doing all of these things. So the vision provides a lot of benefits for us and our children and grandchildren. And you can find the vision at utahvalleyvisioning.org. And as I said, you can find the things that I've talked about as well as a lot more detailed goals and strategies. And these are things that the public sector can do as well as the private sector. And we can all encourage each other to do the right things to bring about the future that we want. So with that, we are now going to transition to several key figures from Utah County have pre-recorded messages to speak to us about different elements of this vision. And then, so that'll take us through this agenda through Shannon Clegg with Intermountain Healthcare, and then Val Hale from the Governor's Office of Economic Development, who is one of the chairs of the Valley Visioning effort, will then speak to us at that point. So we will go to there. Thank you, everybody.
Hello, I'm Mayor Michelle Kafusi of Provo. With our population growing so fast, we're going to have to be smart about how we develop and grow. The Utah Valley Vision focuses on developing walkable centers that bring things like shopping, dining, office space, entertainment, parks, even education and housing within close distance. A great example of a center is just behind me, Center Street here in Provo. Centers like this are meant to make life more convenient for the people who live right here and for the people who live in the neighborhoods nearby. We'll need a network of these centers throughout the county. Some will be bigger like this one. Others can be just a small, walkable main street. Ideally, we can build these walkable centers near high-capacity transportation, like here at our Frontrunner station, where we're approving high-density housing, pedestrian bridges, and other features to help make this a dynamic, livable area. These walkable centers don't have to be built from scratch. We can take an existing retail area or employment hub and transform it into a walkable center by adding housing and other amenities. While these centers should be easy to access in a car, they need to be built for people so that we can walk or bike around and still feel safe. Walkable centers are part of the future of Utah County. And now with this vision to guide us, our excitement for the future is even brighter.
I'm Nate Hutchinson, one of the owners of Flagship Homes. I, like all of you, love Utah Valley. I'm confident we will be able to come together to solve the ever-increasing issues we currently face caused by our booming birth rates and increased population. Our community is headed towards a housing crisis that can be avoided if productive action is taken. It is becoming unattainable for many people to purchase or rent housing in our community. As we look to other cities and other communities, we can learn from their successes and failures to guide our decision making. The best way to help all of us is to build all types of homes. Single-family homes on larger lots, single-family homes on small lots, townhomes, condos, apartment buildings, and even basement apartments. And we especially need these homes in areas that are close to jobs, future jobs, and our transportation corridors, which in turn will help keep our air cleaner. We need to be more innovative and collaborative when it comes to what we will allow to be built in our cities. Increased density has other benefits too. It means we use less land and water, leaving more for farms and open space, and it means our infrastructure doesn't have to stretch as far, which will save all of us money. Our state has a history of adopting the best practices found all around the world, as they turn this desert land into the beautiful and vibrant valley that we share today. These early settlers anticipated growth and made sacrifices to make life better for those they knew would come after them. They truly believed that this is the place and allowed the opportunity and land for those that they knew were following them west. The community spirit that was fostered by our first settlers will be the same community spirit we will need to help tackle our current housing situation. May we, like them, provide opportunity, land, and be just as concerned for those that come after us as we are for ourselves. The current mindset of many is to reject growth and exclude the same opportunity that has been granted to us. 85% of the future growth that Utah anticipates is internal, meaning mine and your grandchildren and children will potentially not be able to attain housing in the same way you and I have. It won't be available, it won't be affordable, and it will force them out of our community. Let's all continue to work together to keep our state thriving by allowing us to build a diverse housing stock that all our current and future residents so desperately need. Thank you.
Hi, this is Mayor Richard Brunst of the City of Orem, and I'm here to talk about transportation in the Valley Visioning Project. The longer it takes us to get around, the less time we spend doing the things we want to do with the people that we love. So a big part of the quality of life for the future is tied to transportation. In the Utah Valley Vision, local residents were loud and clear about wanting convenient and affordable choices for how to get around. We need to make sure that we develop new amenities and services close to home so we can spend less time in our cars. Infrastructure needs to be well maintained and kept up for the needs that we have as we grow. And across Utah County, residents want a future with expanded public transportation, where owning a car might even be a choice in some areas rather than a necessity. But we need to coordinate to make sure the right transportation options go in the right places. A grid system like we have had in our pioneer communities makes it more convenient to get around in less time. And we need to be open to explore additional freeways and added transit capacity. There are many things to look forward to in the next 50 years in Utah Valley. If we follow the Utah Valley vision, we can look forward to a transportation system that gives us the freedom we want for a high quality of life. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Astrid Tumines, President of Utah Valley University. I am thrilled that Utah Valley Visioning emphasizes the importance of education as a pillar of growth for Utah County. Education is so critical because it improves the earnings of an individual, it contributes to positive health, it strengthens families, and it allows people to become more active civic participants in a democratic society. It is important that we support our teachers, whether they are in K-12 or at the university. It is important that we work together as institutions and as leaders to provide all of our citizens with a positive educational experience. At UVU, I am thrilled that the credentials we offer include certificates, associates, bachelor's, and master's degrees. It's a whole range of offerings for a diverse array of students. Again, thank you for including education as a pillar of the future of Utah Valley.
Hello, I'm Tom Westmoreland, the mayor of Eagle Mountain City. A lot will change by 2050, but Utah will still be a desert. We'll need to be careful if we expect to have water readily available for all of our needs, from our homes and businesses to our farms and habitats. The Utah Valley Vision can help us use our limited water resources wisely, so we can all continue to enjoy our beautiful communities and a high quality of life, even as our population grows. We can optimize water use. This not only means understanding the supply of and demand for water in Utah Valley, but also planning for sufficient water storage, improving watersheds, and regularly maintaining water infrastructure. We can reduce the per capita water use from municipal industrial areas by using water-efficient landscaping, providing up-to-date information to homeowners, and more. Finally, we need to make sure we allocate sufficient water to support natural ecosystems as well as our outdoor recreation. The future of our water is critical to the overall quality of life we will experience today and in the future. With this vision, we can have a water-secure future for Utah Valley.
Hello, I'm Shannon Clegg. I'm a strategic consultant at Intermountain Healthcare, and I've had the privilege of representing Intermountain Healthcare on the Utah Valley Visioning Project. You know, air quality is a concern across the entire Wasatch Front. Utah County is no exception. As we've worked through this project, it's been very important for us to come up with initiatives that will help us ensure air quality in the coming decades. And there's a lot of things that we can do to make a difference. First thing that's going to be really important is for us to use more telework options like we have during the pandemic. We want to reduce auto emissions, increase the use of electric cars, and make sure we have electric charging stations across the valley. And another thing that's going to be really important is that we make sure we have plenty of public transportation options. But even if we have public transportation options, we as citizens have to make a commitment to use those options. Additionally, we need to have a good network of biking paths and safe biking lanes and even safe sidewalks for people to walk on. The next thing that's going to be important for us to think about and to work on is making sure that we use the best possible technology in our construction and even picking the best technology for the appliances in our homes. And finally, it's important that we are very careful about the use of technology in construction and making sure that we have the best technology and the cleanest technology in our farms and even in our own yards. You know, with every breath we take, we want to look forward to good, clean air in the future. I challenge each of you to think about the various issues and initiatives that the Utah Valley Visioning Project is going to be working on, and think about what you can do to make a difference to ensure that we have good air quality in the future.
Well, thank you to all of those who participated so far. I would like to share a quote that I really have liked over the years. It says that people with no vision fixate on the past. No doubt Utah Valley has a tremendous past. The Utah Valley of our grandfathers with orchards and long stretches of State Street between communities is really history. That is not going to be the Utah Valley of our grandchildren. And the purpose of this visioning effort that we've undergone is to help make the future of our grandchildren here in this valley as enjoyable as it was for our grandfathers and our fathers, and even for us. We've all heard the reasons why this is important. And now it's up to us and our leaders to have the courage to move forward to make sure that we have a future in this valley that maintains a quality of life. It can't happen helter-skelter. It can't happen without some serious planning and visioning and courage. And so my challenge is that we make sure that we elect leaders who will have the courage to make sometimes difficult decisions to bring about some of these changes. If we don't, we will suffer the consequences, and life in Utah Valley will not be what we want it to be and what our kids will want it to be. So let's make sure that we communicate to our leaders and to candidates and to others that this is what we need in our valley to look to the future. Let's not fixate on the past. Let's have the vision to see what needs to happen and then make it happen. So thank you very much to the Chamber and to everyone who helped make this possible. Ari, Envision Utah, Ryan, thank you so much. And the information you've gleaned and gathered from the public is a great tool moving forward. So thank you so much. And it's my pleasure to now turn the time over to our new Chamber President, Curtis Blair.
My name is Curtis Blair. As Val mentioned, I'm the President and CEO of the Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce. For many of you, this is the first time we have met. For some of you, we're already well acquainted, but thank you for your warm welcome in this new role. I have appreciated that very much. Let me share with you some thoughts as we look towards implementation of the Valley Vision. Of the many highlights in my relatively new role here, among them has been the opportunity to work with Cam Martin, Val Hale, and the entire team, Ari Brewing and Ryan and others at the Envision Utah initiative to really push forward the Valley Vision for our county. I have also been blessed with the opportunity to work with the caliber of leaders who lead the chambers in their respective cities in Utah County. Josh Walker, Mark Welker, Holly Harwood of Eagle Mountain, Ty Jones, Eric Jensen, Heather Youd, and Melanie Bott. These are wonderful people and have tremendous insight and vision for our valley as well. The visioning work is incredibly important to me personally, to the Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce, and to the rest of the Association of Utah Chambers of Commerce. We're excited to not only have shared the vision with you all today, but also share with you where we go from here as we plan to continue the momentum started over the last 2 years through this Valley Visioning process. The Utah Valley Chamber has restructured its entire mission, objectives, goals, and strategies around the Valley Visioning initiative. The Utah Valley Chamber is convening 6 committees on a weekly basis as we lead up through the legislative session and work towards the goals set forth in the vision. These groups include chairs and programs such as The Education of Workforce Development, chaired by Amy Edwards, and vice chaired by Mike Roberts. Our Health Systems Reform, chaired by Kyle Hansen and vice chaired by Rob Behunin. We have our Transportation Committee that's chaired by Jeremy Hafen and vice chaired by Jamie Davidson. Natural Resources, chaired by Nate Hutchison, our Housing Gap, that is chaired by Nate Hutchinson and vice chaired by Cameron Martin. Natural Resources, chaired by Chris Anderson and vice by Kevin Dowdle. And finally, our Business Environment, that is chaired by Ray Chipman and vice chaired by Jake Berry. These committees are focused on developing innovative and realistic solutions to the major issues that are facing Utah Valley. I invite any and all on this call to participate on a committee that resonates with you or your business or your industry. We are preparing now for the legislative session. Meetings are held weekly for 60 minutes. And you can contact the Chamber by emailing info@thechamber.org to sign up for one of these committees and get engaged. In short, the mission of these committees is to implement the Valley Visioning. The surveys have been distributed, the data has been collected, the reports are completed. It's now time to implement. Thank you again to everyone who joined us today, as well as the 15,000 plus people who contributed their time and shared their opinions and insights, which ultimately helped to create the framework for this vision. This is just the beginning, and we will all continue to work towards keeping Utah a great place to live as we implement the strategies set forth in Valley Visioning. With that, we thank you all for participating. We hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining us, and may we continue to see prosperity and economic growth in this great valley of ours. Thank you and have a great day.